Thank you for taking the HistoryBuff.com virtual tour of the Anna Jarvis birthplace in Webster, West Virginia. Anna Jarvis was the founder of Mother's Day. My name is Rick, and I will be your tour guide today. Before we go inside the home, I should tell you a little bit about the house and the Jarvis family. It all begins with Anne Maria Reeves Jarvis. She was born in Culpeper, Virginia. Her father was a Methodist minister. When Anne was 12, her father was transferred over the western mountains of Virginia to what is currently Philippi, West Virginia. At the time, West Virginia wasn't a state. Granville Jarvis, her father, was a Baptist minister. Granville Jarvis and Anne Maria met and were married in 1850. The house you see before you is the home Granville built in 1854. When the Jarvises moved to Webster, there were 43 families living there. Of all those structures, only this house and 2 of the churches remain. The road before this house, which is now Route 119, was originally called the Staunton-Wheeling Pike, and it was a direct route from the north to south at this time. This is why General George B. McLellen was sent by President Lincoln to keep the back door to Virginia open. This is the kitchen and is typical of the time. 95% of the house is original. The wallpaper and paint were analyzed by West Virginia University to determine age and authenticity. There are over 5,000 items in our museum, all donated to us in loving memory or in honor of loved ones. In this room we have the wringer washer and washboard, older utensils hanging, and the 2 kitchen tables actually belong to the Jarvis family. This is the parlor and is typical of the time. At that time, a parlor was only used for special company or for guests. However, the Jarvises were different. They were married for 52 years before Granville died. In all that time, they never once attended church together. He remained a Baptist, and Anna Maria remained a Methodist. But on Sunday afternoons, they and their children gathered in the parlor, where they sang and played the piano. All of the Jarvises could play the piano, and they played a variety of different instruments, such as a violin, harpsichord, dulcimer, and flute. The piano you see here is an 1860 Steinway & Son grand piano, with all of the original parts and still plays. In 1856, Mrs. Jarvis called upon her brother, Dr. James Edmund Reeves, to help her form the Mother's Day Friendship Clubs. He began teaching these clubs about sanitation around the home, such as boiling the milk and washing and boiling the diapers. The motto of the Mother's Day Friendship Clubs was Mother's Work for Better Mothers, Better Homes, Better Children, Better Men and Women. We are now in the toddler room. This is where the 2 to 6-year-olds were kept due to the fact that the stovepipe came through the floor from the cook stove below. This kept the room warm and without worry of a fireplace. The baby doll on the bed is wearing authentic children's clothing from the 1800s. The doll was made to resemble baby Anna when she was about 2 years old. This is the master bedroom. This is the room that Anna Jarvis was born on May 1st, 1864. She was the 10th child born to the Jarvises. By the time Anna was born, all the other girls had died, and Anna was only the 3rd child to survive into adulthood. In this room we have Mrs. Jarvis's shoes, her hat and her trunk, her dresser, and some other things in her shadow box. The 2 dresses are wedding dresses. At her mother's death is when Anna Jarvis made her now famous promise to create a day in which to honor all mothers. It took her from 1905 to 1914 before her dream was realized. In 1943, things changed for Anna. She had become a recluse, and she became enraged that her beloved Mother's Day had become so commercialized. She put in even more vengeance by going door to door with a petition to rescind Mother's Day. She was then quickly put in the Marshall Square Sanitarium in Westchester, Pennsylvania. She died there on November 24th, 1948. She died alone and broken. Feel free to continue to look around this room. This room was originally the family dining room. It was the room where Colonel Latham came to request permission for General George B. McClellan to use as his headquarters. Mrs. Jarvis granted her permission on the condition that the Union troops understood that she would not take sides in the conflict. She doctored soldiers on both sides in this house and the 3 churches that were in the area at the time. Not only did General McClellan come, but he also brought 10,000 Union troops with him. They took over all the buildings that were in Webster and stayed for the entire 4 years of the Civil War. The traveling desk, pen, inkwell, and field glasses were used by General McClellan. The cannon you see here is also from the Civil War. This concludes the tour of the Anna Jarvis birthplace home. Thank you for coming.